To determine the shape of the Earth, Will Duffy, you would have to book a flight from Australia and show up at South America.
Oh, well, that's really easy. Australia to Chile, leaving on the 4th of September. I can book it now. And don't worry, I promise I won't bring up the fact that the people who are attending the final experiment are flying to Antarctica from South America. And you'll never hear me mention the fact that every single flat earther on the planet has always said that nobody can go to Antarctica because of penguins with lasers in their eyes, or whatever the hell it is they say.
Oh, no way!
Please subscribe.
This is Feature Money. So Will Duffy's so-called final experiment is not going to determine the shape of the Earth. What it is an experiment that will be interesting, but not conclusive.
Oh, right, not conclusive. Well, if it's not conclusive, why have so many flat earthers historically said things like this?
The 24-hour sun in Antarctica doesn't work on a flat Earth.
On a flat Earth, you can't have a 24-hour sun, a midnight sun in Antarctica.
Dave seems to think it's pretty conclusive, and in fact, he thought it was so conclusive, rather than actually go, he decided to just call Will Duffy a demon and decline his very generous invitation.
According to all of you who participated in my several polls I left on different platforms, you have vehemently rejected the idea that the final experiment will be conclusive.
Oh, right, sorry, I had no idea that you'd run some polls on your channel. So what was your control group? Because you know you can't only ask flat earthers if they think that the final experiment is going to prove that the Earth isn't flat, because your results would be skewed. Dare I say, inconclusive.
First of all, there was this YouTuber named Creaky who made a video about one of my videos.
He means me.
About the sun simulator, and there's been other videos by Will Duffy and others who have pretty much came out, and they think that just because we have explored ideas about what this final experiment could mean, if there is some type of evidence of a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, they think that we're admitting defeat.
I hope you don't mean me, because I definitely don't think flat earthers will admit defeat. I think, and I have thought right from the very beginning, that flat earthers will replace all their existing lies with a whole new set of lies, specifically designed to try and debunk the 24-hour sun in Antarctica.
And that we're making excuses already.
But that's because you all are. Will Duffy designed the final experiment specifically responding to one of the most common claims from flat earthers. And that claim is that you can't actually.
We do not have a 24-hour sun in the south.
The 24-hour sun in Antarctica doesn't work on a flat Earth.
Right, sorry, carry on. You were saying something about flat earthers and not making excuses?
Stuff like that, but really, we're just brainstorming on the idea. We're not saying that there's going to be a 24-hour sun, but we are brainstorming just in case there is. We don't have to just abandon all of our work that we've done when it comes to the flat Earth.
Now, when you say brainstorming, I think what you're actually trying to say is that since the final experiment was announced, flat earthers have been frantically trying to stick a round peg in a square hole, because even flat earthers understand that the only way we will witness the sun stay in the sky for 24 hours in Antarctica in December is because the Earth is an oblate spheroid.
We don't want to fall into that trap where Will Duffy is thinking that just because Will Duffy thinks this is going to determine the shape of the Earth doesn't mean we have to fall in line.
And nobody is expecting you to. In fact, I could pretty much guarantee that none of you will, because like I said earlier in the video, you'll just come up with a whole new load of lies to try and backtrack from what the final experiment demonstrates.
Because we've explored other ideas and alternate explanations, and we've always been able to find explanations for all the things you guys thought was a proof, and we've demolished all of your explanations over the years.
And yet not a single flat earther has been able to demonstrate how a 24-hour sun in Antarctica would work on a flat earth, which is why you were all frantically trying to discredit either Will or the experiment itself.
And so we've saw this with a lot of you out there. You think you have something and then you don't.
And that's fine, because you're free to think whatever you choose. But I'll tell you some of the things we have that your side doesn't. 1, the truth. 2, plenty of ways to back up that truth. And 3, and this is a bit more of a personal thing, a sense of community. It's only on your side of the argument that everybody is getting all bent out of shape about the final experiment. We are all embracing it for the huge opportunity it is. Actually, there's one other thing that you have which we don't, and that's a community-wide panic.
And just because we find alternative explanations to explain things doesn't mean we're making excuses. It just means that there's options here.
Yeah, I happen to completely agree with that. And in the case of the final experiment, the options are that you will either be right or wrong. But the same could be said for the globe side. We could be right or wrong. Those are your two options. And it's also worth pointing out that we don't have to look for alternative explanations, because we have the actual explanations, which are all backed up by thousands of years of scientific discovery.
And we can continue to wake up from this matrix that they've put us in. In fact, people like Will Duffy have become Agent Smith from the Matrix.
Hang on a second, Will's an agent? Will, how could you? You told me that you were a pastor.
Where he's trying to keep everyone in their program. He wants to keep everyone from waking up and from figuring out that we've been lied to.
Okay, and dare I ask who by and for what purpose? Because one thing I've never understood is what exactly the advantage would be by hiding the true shape of the Earth. Who would it benefit and how?
Doesn't want us to wake up to the realities of this world. I wonder if these people would be so opposed to the idea of a simulated reality. It seems like these globe earthers would be more open to that idea versus flat earth for some reason. And really, I don't see how you could be so open to the idea of a simulated reality but not open to the idea of being lied to by science about the shape of the earth.
Now, I'm not going to say you're wrong here, but I will definitely say that you are not right. Now, I watch a lot of online content, and I have never seen anybody from our side of the argument agreeing with simulation theory. Is it interesting? Yeah, I suppose it is quite interesting. But I have never seen anybody on the flat earth debunking side say that they believe we live in a simulation. So where are you getting your information from? Or is it the same place you get your information about the shape of the earth from?
Look, this world has been something where science has grabbed a hold of it and made this heliocentric deception system to control your mind.
Then prove that if you think you can, because from my side of the fence, the only thing science has done to the world since science became a thing is give us a greater understanding of the planet we live on.
That's why people like Will Duffy keep looking up in the sky. They are literally Agent Smith from the Matrix. They want to keep looking up in the sky to brainwash you and keep you spaced out.
Or he thought of a way of responding to the most common claim flat earthers have ever made.
They want to keep you spaced out. Look at that planet over there. Look at that sun. Look at the star. You know, the sun is a star, just like the science textbooks have told us over and over again. You know, they want us to just go along with what the system has told us about this world.
So what would you have scientists do then? Just make stuff up like flat earthers do because they can't accept what actual science shows us?
And they keep looking up in the sky because they are spaced out and programmed. They have been brainwashed by the system.
Irony much? You know, it makes me laugh every time a flat earther says something like that. They accuse the rest of the world of being brainwashed when in reality, the only reason flat earthers now are flat earthers is because they've watched YouTube videos from other flat earthers and they were already suspicious of anybody in a position of authority, so it was easy for them to just roll over and believe whatever nonsense gets said in a flat earther's video.
And they're trying to determine the shape of the earth by looking up in the sky.
But your idea for an experiment which would be much better than the final experiment was to buy a plane ticket, and the last I checked, planes fly in the sky.
We've covered several explanations about what could happen in this final experiment thing. We've covered how sundogs reflect and kind of show multiple suns at one time. It could look like, with sundogs.
But sundogs don't have anything at all to do with the shape of the earth. They're caused because of how light interacts with ice crystals in the atmosphere. Notice that was atmosphere, not atmosphere.
Or with all these other options like the sun simulator, which this YouTube channel called Creaky had made a video about one of my videos and tried to debunk my hypothesis.
Hang on a second, I'm not letting that one slide. A hypothesis? Are you serious? A hypothesis is an educated guess or a testable statement. So how the hell is claiming that they're going to use a fake sun simulator to generate the 24-hour sun in Antarctica a hypothesis? It's nothing more than a stupid idea.
But really, like I said, we're just exploring ideas.
Yeah, really stupid ideas.
Looking at possibilities here, because we don't know what's going to happen, and neither do you.
Ah yes, but which side's argument do the countless videos showing the 24-hour sun in Antarctica support? Because it damn sure isn't the flat earth side.
Nobody's really determined what's going on in Antarctica. There's been rumors of a 24-hour sun, and in December, I guess we're going to see what's really going on with that, because according to this travel agent in my last video, where this guy, he's been working on this type of stuff for over 30 years, setting travels for Antarctica and the Arctic, and he determined that when it comes to Antarctica, there is no 24-hour sun.
And I suppose hoping that you've left some sort of citation in the description of your video is too much to ask. Because like I say to every other flat earther, you can say whatever you want. It doesn't matter what you say. What matters is what you can demonstrate.
Yeah, we're just exploring ideas and trying to get ahead of it and figure out what could this mean.
I don't know. Maybe that the Earth is a globe?
I will explain to you what a real final experiment would look like. And so, like I said, looking up in the sky is not going to determine the shape of the Earth, but what would determine the shape of the Earth is a ground-based experiment. So, like I said, let me get to what a real final experiment would look like. And that involves Antarctica, but it would involve a plane.
Okay, a ground-based experiment that would involve a plane. Right.
Being chartered to fly under this ball Earth, the so-called ball Earth, right? And come out on the other side.
Well, I did show right at the very beginning of this video that it's very easy to book a flight from Australia to South America, specifically Chile.
That would be what would be more conclusive than this sun idea, this so-called final experiment.
And it's that straightforward. That's literally all it'll take to convince flat earthers that the Earth is a globe. Well, that's really easy to fix. All you need to do is get in contact with somebody who's flown from Australia to Chile.
The experiment that I just suggested would actually be more conclusive, in my opinion, if you wanted to determine the shape of the Earth. And so that would definitely be more land-based, like we said.
The final experiment isn't ground-based, even though everybody's going to be standing on the ground. Yes, they're going to be looking up at the sun, but like I said in my last video, that's because the sun lives in outer space, and to see outer space, you have to look up. Now, your suggestion is to charter a plane to fly from Australia to South America. Could you explain to me how that's a ground-based experiment? Now, I know planes take off from the ground and then land back on the ground, but the majority of your experiment, the plane would be in the sky. So how is that an improvement on what Will is already doing?
Is because when it comes to you brainwashed heliocentrists, you guys are just so programmed about outer space, and your mind has been taken over by outer space. You keep looking up in the sky and you're not focusing on the subject at hand. You're looking up in the sky instead of trying to determine the shape of the earth by doing ground experiments.
And your idea of a ground experiment is to charter an aeroplane and fly in the sky. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I can almost hear you all screaming at your phones right now. I know exactly where he's going with this, and it's not just because I've already watched this video. He is implying that that flight is impossible because you can't fly directly over the Arctic Circle. And to be fair to him, he's right. You can't fly directly over the Arctic Circle, which is exactly why he is insisting that that's what we have to do to be able to prove to him that the Earth is a globe.
Things that involve this earth, because that is the subject at hand. So to determine the shape of the earth, Will Duffy, you would have to book a flight from Australia and show up at South America. Go under the ball and show up on the other side. By going under the ball would be more of a conclusive experiment, but then again...
See, and there it is, but then again. So you're even trying to discredit your own idea for how to prove that the Earth is a globe.
Even then, because at that point we'd have to trust that the plane didn't just, make some type of strange trip.
These people are beyond help. Now, I could go on and explain to you what I think he's getting at. Now, what he is getting at is that you can't fly directly over Antarctica, so therefore these flights can't be... I honestly have no idea what the hell he's talking about. Thanks for watching, everybody. Love you. Bye.